Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. It's Sunday Comics, and what are we doing? We're going to be talking about perhaps one of the greatest single issues of all comics of all time. Yes, that's a big brag over here, but this is X-Men 137. This is the third time I showcase this comic on my channel. Oh, I need more light. I, I don't care if my face glows. It's not about my face, it's about the comic. Here you go. So this is a double-sized issue. So go get your coffee, go get your adult double-sized extra large adult diapers because there's no room for bathroom breaks, and we will just dig into this real soon. But first, we filibuster a bit, get some people in the chat. I've been working a lot of overtime, and I gotta thank my shop. I took a day off, and they paid me for it. So that means I'm doing a good job because they don't have to do that. So that was nice. That was real nice. So thank you if anybody is watching. Appreciate it. I just threw my back out, and I just, it just happens. 54 hours overtime that week. So, and then the following Monday, I was just like, I can't move. So I appreciate it. Thank you. Back to regular overtime. Just trying to make up for all that time that I was out of work because I've been on like jobs, whatever, like no overtime for years, and it's just nice. Trying to get ready to retire in 2 years or so. See if we can. Every little bit helps. Just pour it into my 401k. It's amazing. It's amazing how fast that thing builds. Anyway, that's nothing. Again, I'm just filibustering. Let's check out the chat. So first and foremost, we got Heroic Tales 2, still on Fund My Comic. Fund My Comic, for those of you who know, is a website where you could launch like stores and comic book campaigns. It's a free speech site. As long as you follow reasonable rules, it's great. Luke Stone is the owner. Luke Stone is one of my artists. He's been helping me every step of the way for my comic book creation. Just a great guy. I'm loyal. I will launch all my campaigns on Fund My Comic first, give them maybe a month of exclusivity, and then probably go to Kickstarter. I didn't do too well on Indiegogo, and it was just, I don't know, I just didn't think it was worth the hassle. I found it was difficult to use, but I filled all my campaigns, so it's not like one of those they won't let me use it. I have 2 campaigns, both of them filled pretty much on time. I'm pretty happy with that. My problem with Kickstarter is I don't like that you wait all those weeks for people to pay. Like, I don't like it as a purchaser. Take my money right now. I don't want to be all of a sudden like, when did this money come out? I'm like, oh yeah, I bought that thing 5 weeks ago. Take my money now. And then the survey. A lot of people just like, what? I got homework now. But Fund My Comic. I know. I just like it. I just like it. So check that out. I will be closing down this site soon, Heroic Tales 2, because I'm going to be opening up like a forever store where you can get anything except the current campaign, and then the current campaign will be moved over to the store. Why? Because I want to get cards made up when I go to conventions or whatever, and that way you could always get everything. Like the cards that I have made up now have this link on it, and I still have cards from the first campaign left over. You know what I mean? So I want to make it so that the cards last forever. But I will be launching Heroic Tales Christmas Special #1 soon. Soon. I don't want to give a hard date yet. Soon. I'm waiting on one more page to be colored. Yeah, that's it. One more page to be colored, and then I can launch it. We got Brittany. How you doing, Brittany? How's Ron doing? How's everything going over there at Fox Prowl Comics? How you doing, Fox Prowl Comics? I will take a sip of coffee in your honor. I want to take it if anybody's on. I love coffee. How's everything? How's everything going? Brick and mortar comic book stores are the best. I love them. Hey, Brittany, do you have a, what is it, Comics Magazine? Is Comics Magazine? I got to go pick that up. I want to go pick that up. Hey, Marcus Kellegrew is here. How you doing, Marcus? Marcus, as well as moderating all my stuff on all my channels. He's also drawing the public eye, and every page is getting better and better and better. And I don't know what it is. Well, I know what it is. The public eye is my character. And what I mean by that is the Patriarch's my character, Mary Sue is my character, but the public eye is my character. So I play a role-playing game called Villains and Vigilantes. And my friend Jimmy, Paul, Mike, and now I got a new group, Roy and Scott and David. We come over and we role play, and I am the game master most of the time, meaning I run the game. So everybody is my characters. The Patriarch and Mary Sue have never been in my role playing game. I made them up for the comic books because I didn't think I thought the Patriarch would be a good main character to focus the universe on, like a Superman type. But he wasn't in my role-playing game. But I did start him out, write him up, and he has character sheets and everything like that. So every one of my characters has character sheets. So and at one point I will make like a role-playing supplement for Villains, provided my comics continue to sell. If anybody's interested in that, that's like the kind of thing that only I'm interested in. But anyway, but the public eye is my character. I rolled him up. I made him up. He was like a randomly generated character. And I made him up. My friend Jimmy ran the game. So he was literally my character. So I feel a very personal attach. We did like 3 or 4 stories with the public eye, And when Jimmy, I'm a strict DM. When I run the game, I'm strict. The rules are, if you've ever played Dungeons & Dragons or anything like that, the rules are always flexible. But when I say I'm strict, is like, it's my world. You're playing in my world. But when Jimmy's the DM, he likes a lot of player input. So I almost feel like I'm bullying Jimmy by letting my characters, I build the backstory, and he likes, I guess he just likes the creativity, or maybe he just, let John do the heavy lifting. I don't know. But but anyway, the public eye is my character. So whenever you see him talking or his backstory, everything like that, I role played that. And it was funny because my old Villains and Vigilante forum, it was remember message boards? I had a message board going on since like 2000. Just had to stop it. It was getting more and more and more expensive to maintain it, and less and less and less traffic. So we saved all the information. Maybe someday we could resurrect it. But so I would post in the persona of the public eye, and then Jimmy would post in the persona of his psychiatrist. So it was pretty funny. It was pretty funny. Hey, good morning, Soda Jerk Classic. How are you doing? I love that Brainiac. That's Jack Kirby designed that, or did George Perez design it? I think Jack Kirby designed that. I am having a blessed Sunday. I'm having a very blessed Sunday. It's beautiful out. It might even be too hot. Thanks for liking my Magneto. Speaking of X-Men, yeah, Marcus is an artist. He drew a cool looking Magneto and put a post on it on Twitter. I always like, I wouldn't have asked Marcus to draw one of my comics if I didn't like his art. Happy Sunday. Now go to church. You heard the man. We might have a few issues of Comics Magazine. No subscription though. We're always great. Do you want us to ship you? Yeah, I'll pay you for it if you got the all the issues of Comics Magazine. What is it, up to 3? If you got 1, 2, and 3, yeah, just let me know. I'll pay. And my back pain's over. The day I took off, it was a Sunday. I just got like that twinge in the back, and I could feel like I was on that precipice of my back going out. So I just went right to the chiropractor as soon as it opened, and then just took it easy for a day. It was fine. No, if you're in construction, your back just hurts. Your knees hurt. My newest thing is my hips hurt. I'm turning into an broken old man. Good morning, Ben Small, voice actor. How's it going? Mad K6Q, how you doing? Good morning to you. And Abrax is here. How you doing? How's Lacey? Haven't seen her in a long time. So, and Penny Ma, I haven't seen in a long time. The old school, Jeff Harper and War Duke. How are those guys doing? You know. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'll ask our count by tomorrow and text you and find out. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so we got a bunch of people here. Filibustered enough. I can't help but think there was one more bit of comic book news that I'm forgetting. Well, if I remember it, I will blurt it out suddenly because that's the way my brain works. So, if you've been following, this is the last issue was the fake ending of the Phoenix Saga. Everything, and that's the way it was kind of planned. I think it was kind of planned that way. And then Jim Shooter was like, no, she blew up a planet. So like in the midst of the planning stages, they added the Shi'ar plot, and it just gave it a kicker. And I remember as a kid, I know this is going to sound phony, but I remember last issue, Xavier came out and did the magic fix, the hand wave, the Deus Ex Machina. They just stared at each other, and literally that was the conclusion of her flying into space, blowing up planets, losing control. Xavier stares at her, and the problem solved. Of course, they edited all the special effects and the Phoenix effect and the psychic effect, but it boils down to Xavier stared at her, and now the problem's fixed. And even as a kid, I was just like, that's up there with like, oh, the power of love. The power of love solved everything, and I was, I know it sounds phony, but I was thinking, even back then, I was thinking, how is this going to get resolved? She's so powerful. I always thought it was going to be because the more powerful the villain gets, the more abstract the ending always seems to get. Like, it's never just Colossus is going to go and punch Jean Grey right in the face and crush her skull. That's not going to happen. Like, the only other like brutal ending was like maybe Wolverine would finally kill her, then Wolverine gets like ostracized or whatever. Like, that was a possibility in my mind. But I always thought the ending was going to be, as I was reading it along, was that because the rapport that Jean Grey and Cyclops have. Why? Because they just inserted it into the story. It was out of the actual timeline. Like, it was mentioned in flashback. I'm like, oh, there you go. That's the out. That's the out. It wasn't just like issue 112 when she establishes the rapport, and then they use it all the time. No, it was like issue 35. Like, in a flashback, it happened in 118. I'm messing up the numbers because I don't remember, but you know what I mean. It was a flashback where they. Oh, by the way, I put in a report a couple of issues ago, and I didn't tell you then because I just thought of it now, kind of thing. So I always thought that was going to be the mechanism to oh, Gene, but I love you, and he inserts how much emotionality, and you know what I mean, and then she comes. That's how I thought it was going to end, and it was like a little bit of a fake out because they were heading in that direction, and then Xavier, fixed her. And she was so, it was like Galactus and the Ultimate Nullifier. It was kind of unsatisfying. But how else were you going to fix the problem? And then, boom, this issue comes, and we get the real final. Oh man, it was a perfect setup and delivery. Perfect setup and delivery. And then I can't talk about this comic without talking about this Marvel comic could be worth $2,500 to you. Oh my God. I remember even seeing it at, I know exactly where I bought this comic. It was Fred's stationery store right next door to St. Christopher's Church, because I went to St. Christopher's Elementary School. And at this point I was like, he had, if you wanted, I remember the setup of the store. You went into the store, the door was on like a diagonal corner. So when you went in, right over here was the stand, and over here was Asteroids and Frogger or whatever the game. Sometimes they would rotate them out, and then a huge huge news rack of comics, magazines, or whatever, and then it turned into stationary cards. You know, I remember vividly, and it was just every day I would be like, just looking at, oh, okay, and I remember just seeing this stupid yellow stain on the comic, and I'm like, oh my god, one of my most anticipated comics, and they have that banner. And it was very satisfying when I had my talk with Jim Shooter. I asked him about that. I was like, did anybody actually win? You know, he told me about that. That was fun. That was. I'm so glad I finally got like closure on that. Okay, so let's look at this cover. Just dare I say the dreaded, hated word, iconic. This is such an iconic cover. This is one of those covers that just gets homaged all the time. You got Jean Grey as Marvel Girl, just shooting her telekinetic powers. You got Cyclops over here, ravaged. His clothes are ripped, shooting this beam, and then you see what they're on the moon. What's just perfect. Phoenix must die. Such a good cover. Such a good cover. No unnecessary words. And note that they're not the uncanny X-Men yet. They're just X-Men. This is 1980, and it was 75 cents. 75 cents for a double-sized issue. The good old days. This comic. Oh, I got surprised again now. So, needless to say, at this point, I will talk about the comic and go to the comments, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I like this because when you click on a comment, it's the writing isn't in bold, so I know exactly where I am. This is an update on StreamYard that I actually like. Formerly known as Frank Kepler. Oh, okay. How you doing? Apex Comics. How you doing? Zol have the I know he's supposed to. I have the John Byrne alternate ending as well as the original. Yeah, that maybe I should bring that up for next week. Good call. Yeah, they printed like a special edition of what would have happened had Jim Shooter not correctly interfered in this story. So they have that. Maybe I'll dig that out. That's a good call. As long as it's not on Earth, planets don't matter. Right. Just blow up a peaceful member of the Shi'ar Empire. Who cares? It's just it's xenophobic. Even Magneto hasn't destroyed any planets far enough. Yes. And I'm going to say something controversial now, so hold on to your pants. Mental illness does not excuse you from horrific deeds. Matter of fact, it makes it more imperative that you face punishment. If you can't control yourself, if you're stabbing people on the subway or breaking into people's houses and killing 3-year-old babies, and you can't face trial because that just means get rid of you. We don't need you. There's 8 billion people on the planet. If you take 4 steps back, it's an ant farm. If one of the ants is causing havoc, you take that ant and you flick it into the garbage can. Sorry. Mental illness, just if you can't control yourself, all the more reason for you to sayonara. Right. So she was mentally ill, but she blows up planets. Sorry. We can't have that. We can't have. Well, it's okay to have mass murdering psychotic people who can't control themselves with the power to destroy planets. Stars. She destroys stars. We don't need that. At some point, we got to realize, okay, it's just, due process. But the government's job is to protect society. You know what I mean? And to protect the individual rights. And the number one individual right is not to be murdered on the way to work or in your own home. Have you bought John Byrne's Elsewhere book yet? I ordered it from Discount Comic Book Service, and they ship once a month. So I think it'll be here in like 2 months. Yeah, it's like and it was weird because it wasn't from Marvel Comics. It was from somebody else. Marv Wolfman and Gil Kane reimagined Brainiac, however, was in Titanic and actually brought it to the page. Okay, I did not know that. I did not know that at all. Everybody's saying hello to each other. As a certified nut job, I agree with you, John. Okay, you're a certified nut job. Me too. Good morning, High Lord Zart. Good to see you. Good to see you. I agree. If someone acts like a wild animal, take care of them like that. Yeah, we shoot rabid dogs, right? Right? You know, if a tiger's paw gets damaged and it can't hunt normally and it goes after humans, we kill it. You know what I mean? Sorry. The X-Men weren't officially the Uncanny X-Men until issue 143. Uncanny was in the title, but not in the this year. Okay. I did not know that. Well, I knew it was coming. Any reason why they added that? Marcus, do you know the reason why also they felt the need to give a clarification to the X-Men? Like, was it popular in 143 were there spin-off comics? Because usually they give clarifications when they're spin-off comics. Agreed. Maybe if you are insane and have less moral culpability, but you're still dangerous like a wild animal. Tragic, but we have people to protect and we don't want people abusing the system. Yeah, right. All these judges are like, okay, we're just going to let them go. And then they go to a nice, safe community. Okay, judge, you think this person's fine? Let them move in with you. Judges need to face accountability for their decisions. You know, if a doctor does malpractice, we sue the doctor. If cops abuse their power, we sue it. You know, but judges could just make whatever. A judge needs to issue a logical statement why they made their decision. They need to, maybe they already do, but we need to see this, and it needs to be, and there needs to be a review of people that take that written statement and argue it. And if the judge can't defend the argument, it's invalid. If it can't be, you know what I mean? We need judicial reform. Mental illness is a medical institution problem more than a lawful one. Right. Oh, Oscar. Oh, Marcus doesn't know why they changed it. I don't know either. Okay. Oscar's here. How you doing, Oscar? Oscar Carano, as you well may or may not know, is the colorist on my comics. Just so talented. I gotta say, Oscar, the colors get better and better and better with every page. I mean, it also helps that Renzo's art gets better and better with every page. And Oscar introduced me to Andre Esparza, who's doing the short story for the Christmas special, and I just fell in love with his art. It's so good. It's so good. Let's see. Can I show off? Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be showing it. I already showed it, so it's not like I'm spoiling anything. So I will show off. I mean, yeah, I already showed this. So here is the undressed cover for Christmas special. So this is Oscar's student, Andre's, and then Oscar's colors. That's the patriarch there with Santa Claus. And yes, Santa Claus is blue and green with some yellow highlights. He's not the red and white Santa Claus, because I'm trying to deal more with historical Santa Claus rather than, corporate Coca-Cola Santa Claus. So there we go. It's so good. It's so good. Oh, that's the wrong way. You don't need to see my face big. It's so good. Oh, and Oscar, I forget who I was talking to. And I was talking about I'm writing a story for Oscar to draw as well as color, and we'll see how that goes. Everything is contingent upon the next campaign. So if I just can't figure. I got a beginning, I got an end. I just need a middle for the story that I'm working on for Oscar, which is odd because I usually know how they're going to end before I even start, and I don't start until I know how to begin. But I can't get a middle, whatever. But they said Oscar's your best artist. They said Oscar. They love the pages that Oscar drew for Eddie is Doomed, which takes us back to Eddie is Doomed. Tonic Bowl. Is Eddie is Doomed is being drawn by Tonic Bowl. Me and Tonic Bowl came up with the idea, and then Oscar is doing the comic book pages. So it's about a guy who's butthurt over the Crisis on Infinite Earths. They destroyed my childhood kind of thing. Oscar's drawing the comic book portion. Tonic Ball's drawing reality portion. Tonic got a little behind the 8 ball with a couple of campaigns, but he's got everything at the printer, and he said he's, he basically asked me, "Am I still on the book?" I was like, "Absolutely, you're on the book." And he's like, "Okay." As soon as he's shipping these books, he's ready to go. So he'll be back doing the art for another month. It's okay. I didn't put it on a schedule, and it's outside of Heroic Tales, so that's good. Where are we? A lot of comments. Although, if I'm found in my backyard naked in a tree talking to the squirrels, please just lure me into my house with some plants. Just mix us. See, you didn't hurt anybody. You're not a danger to society, And who hasn't walked around in their backyard naked talking to the squirrels? Come on. It's a free country. Thought this was America. Making coffee to start the day. Well, there you go. Let's have a big old sip. To Oscar. How you doing? Oscar, I wouldn't be making comic. I would be making costumes if it wasn't for Oscar. Me and Oscar make costumes. What's wrong with my mouth? The law usually gets involved with mental illness problems after the fact, or when they have escalated too far. We as a society have to catch it. True, but it's a catch-22. Do we want the state getting involved in your life, or do it's a sticky wicket. It looks good with the logos in. Yeah, I could show that. So here is the finished cover for Christmas Magic. How's that? How is that? That looks amazing. Excuse me. How is that? That is so good. I love it. Santa with his 8 reindeer. Where am I? You got me curious. Marvel changed the title to Uncanny X-Men in 1978 to distinguish the newly revamped series from the older reprinted comics to establish a trademarkable brand name. Okay, but this is 1980. This is 1980, and it's not Uncanny X-Men yet. Excuse me. I had to look it up. So your information's off by 2 years. It was from bad sales. And they wanted a new name to pull people to make a new trademark. Really? X-Men had bad sales? I thought the X-Men was going like gangbusters. Or maybe it was just one of those under the radar hits. I was waiting for it every issue with bated breath. Avengers will show up to beat you up for thinking you're part of some evil cult like that poor chicken man. Right? That issue is funny. Speaking of which, I didn't do Avengers Assemble yesterday because I worked, and I planned on doing it at 7:00, but I had forgotten that I was going to be on with Cooper, Telepathic Bunny for Cryptid. I said I would do it, and I tried my best to keep to my word. I'm a fallible human being with obligations and bad memory. But I said I was going to be there, and I was there. So I'm thinking maybe tonight at 7:00 I'll do Avengers Assemble. What do you guys think? Let me know in the chat. If do the next issue. Was it 156 of Avengers Assemble? Nice clean sanitariums wouldn't be a bad idea to fix our crazy problems. Yes, for the people who run around naked in the streets, for the people who think they're Napoleon, you know what I mean? For the people who are convinced that the aliens are planting insects into their brains, that's fine. For the people who stab people on the subways, for the people that break into people's houses and kill their children in their beds, we don't need those people. There's one thing if you're crazy and you think you're Napoleon, or you think you're Jesus, or if you think you're, from the planet Galaxion, we'll give you all the help. But once you cross that line that you are actively killing innocent people that have nothing to do, we don't need you. We don't need you. I was going to say things that I don't need to say. It's not the state investing mental health science with money does not control. If anything, will create more. Yeah, that's the problem. I've come to the conclusion that corruption is a feature of humanity, not a bug. And the more we build something, the more corrupt it's going to get just by default. Until we evolve to a higher state of humanity, everything is corrupt. And I came to that conclusion literally live on stream when I was doing, with cryptids, conspiracies with telepathic money, when we were talking about, is the Vatican evil? And I'm like, no. Unless you can prove to me that it was founded with evil intentions, it's not evil. The Vatican is a product of humanity. Whether or not you want to say the Vatican is divinely inspired by God and blah, 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 blah. But I'm saying it's a human institution, and by default, it's corrupt. The United States government is a human institution. By default, it's corrupt. The library system, by default, is corrupt. Your church charity, by default, is corrupt. Corruption is a feature of humanity. There is no way around it. And you must think like that whenever you create anything. The only way something is not be corrupt is one person does it all. And it's very rare to have I'm corruptible. Everybody in this chat is corruptible. It's just human nature. You know what I mean? Whenever we do find that uncorruptible person, we kind of think they're weird. Like, I'm trying to think, like Steve Irwin, the crocodile hunter, Mr. Rogers, you know what I mean? Who are these like uncorruptible, guileless, pure people? You know what I mean? They're so far and few behind that we treat them weird. We look at them with side eyes. What's this guy's deal? You know what I mean? But that's the way it is. So we are way in the weeds, but this is an interesting conversation. Hey, we got Dave Brink here, Genuine Comics. Guys, check out Dave Brink's Genuine Comics. I just got a message, not me personally, but I just saw a message that he's printing Perfect 10 number 6. I did not read it yet. I know you sent out the digital files and everything, but I cannot read comics digitally unless I have to. So I know that the issue 6 is coming. I will read it when I get it. I want to reread a Perfect 10 because I want to talk to Dave about something. And I can't wait. Check out this comic. It's so good. Well, John, the Bible tells us we were born with a sinful nature, and we are to. Yeah. I'm not saying we give in. No, we're also born weak and stupid, and we need to improve ourselves. Prove ourselves every day. Every day, try to improve yourself. And yes, as I say that, I realized I fail most days because I'm a corrupted human being. Yes. Agreed. Humans are fallen and subsequently corrupt. We never fulfill our true purposes to the full extent. Yeah, it's literally impossible, but it's something that we strive to do. It's something we should strive to do. Knowing, my wife loves the show The Chosen. I love the show The Chosen too. And I thought it was one of the more powerful parts in the show. For those of you who don't know, The Chosen is a show about a realistic TV series about the life of Jesus and the apostles. When Mary Magdalene, I forget what sets her off, but she goes back into this like bar. She removes her headscarf and starts gambling and drinking, and then she goes missing, and the apostles go looking for her, and they find her. Like, one of the apostles, like, I know where she is, and they pull her out of this den of iniquity. And she's ashamed, and she doesn't want to see Jesus. She can't look him in the eyes. And Jesus just looks at her and goes, what did you think you were never going to sin anymore? I'm getting emotional just thinking about it right now, but I thought that was so powerful. This is a woman who literally is walking around with Jesus, and she still ends up falling, not falling in the, whatever the extreme sense, but she's there. She's walking around with him, hugging him, giving him a kiss on the cheek, and still ends up a sinner. I thought it was very, very powerful. Superheroes are uncorruptible. Yes. I love the uncorruptible superhero. I love Superman for that exact reason. Deconstruction stories about Superman, I am not interested in. It because, it is the, I don't know, maybe it's the innocent child in me or whatever, but Superman is the pinnacle uncorruptible superhero. The only uncorruptible superhero who might be, better in the pure good sense is Captain Marvel, Shazam, because he's more childlike, and that's the way, like I don't want to spoil anything, but next Friday night, Marcus and I, and hopefully Tony Grigo and anybody else who's welcome. Remember, It's Clobbering Time is an open invite show. We're going to talk about comics that we would pitch. And one of the things that I would pitch, I'm spoiling it right now, is Captain Marvel, Shazam. And so my idea is Superman is the incorruptible superhero. He's the role model. He is the example for all other DC superheroes. He's the father figure. He's the patriarch. And he sets the example, sets the standard for everybody else. And it's a lot of pressure on him. Even though he's Superman, he's man. He's Superman. And every day he gets tempted. You know, he's not God. He's not Buddha. He's not, you know what I mean? He's not any more in touch with the divine than anybody else. He's just, you know, a genetically different being, you know. So he still gets tempted. And who does he go to? Who does he look forward to? Who sets the example for him? Captain Marvel. There's my pitch. I answered, who created the skull redesign of Brainiac? Though my question has always been, why was it ditched? I don't know. It is a cool design. It is a cool design. I love that. It's one of my favorite toys. If you remember the superpower toys from the 80s, the superpower, the Brainiac, you squeezed it, it would kick. But they had to give it something. Hey, Vaughn Coleman's here. One of the greatest superhero comics ever. Let's go. I know you guys have got me in philosophical debates, and I didn't even turn the page yet. Yeah, and Vaughn Coleman, for those of you who may or may not know, is the guy behind Rebel Oasis. They make Phenomenova comics. It's up to issue 4. Check it out. This guy, not only does he write the comic, he gets it out, he delivers it, and then he goes across the country to conventions selling the comic. He's doing what we should be doing. He's doing it all. Check him out. Check him out. You know, what else do you want me to say? He's doing it. He's doing the right thing, and that's why he's a threat to some people. More info. The name X-Men was never fully changed to Uncanny X-Men across the whole franchise. What happened is the main comic series got renamed for sales reasons in the late 1970s. Chris Claremont liked the Uncanny X-Men as a dramatic tagline to distinguish the revitalized series from the older struggling version, but both are used to give it a more unique dramatic identity. Because Uncanny fit the team's themes of strange. Yeah, I do. It's not spam. It's not spam. You're welcome, Vaughn. You're doing the right thing. Everybody's saying hello. Vaughn is the real deal. Hey, Mono Makis is here. How you doing? John, does The Chosen have Vaughn in it? Because it should. That cover is fantastic. Okay, now we're bringing ourselves back to the comic. We had a nice philosophical talk for, 40 minutes. And I didn't even open the comic. Guys, I'm sorry. This is going to be a long one. Let's open up. Hey, we got the Watcher over here. Now, as far as I'm concerned, that's a great splash page. You know, I'm sure some people are going to be checking this out, you know, again, let me know in the chat if you've never seen this comic before. Let me know if this is the first time you've ever seen this comic. And if you've seen it before, do you have the floppy? Did you get it in a trade? And so this is a splash page. Splash page is when there's only one panel on the comic. Usually it's the first page, but not necessarily. And, you know, the rules can be broken. So we got Uatu the Watcher, created by Kirby. And I really like how Byrne draws him more alien looking, more true to the original version. You know, he looks more human in some, like George Perez and Joe Sinnott made him basically look like Mr. Clean. But I love this alien version. And I hate when characters break the fourth wall. I hate it. It just, I don't think I will ever have a comic book character break the fourth wall. I just can't stand it. Although I just realized, as I said it, I have a plan for one character to break the fourth wall. I am corruptible. I am a corruptible human. I hate it. The exception being the Watcher. The Watcher's sole purpose is he sees, he watches, he knows he's being read about. Right now, he knows me. He knows that John's Longbox is watching, right? He's the exception. So here we got Chris Claremont, super long dialogue, you know, and where is he? They're purposely being a little vague, although longtime readers know this should be the moon, but we got planets over here. but it's they're being cheeky. The plants are like on a planter, and then we got the mountains, so it looks like he's in Colorado. We've got the sphere over here, but it's purposely being obscured by his gigantic head. And what do we got here? We got to catch up. It's telling us everything we need to know to get you invested in the story. Great. And he is the one character who can talk directly to the audience without driving me crazy. Yeah. So again, I'll do the comic, and then the wow, a lot of comments. This is gonna be a long one, guys. Buckle in, get you the adult diapers on. Right back at you, Dave. Uatu. Here we go. Get Phenomenon over right now. Issues 1 to 4. I got it in the classic X-Men reprints with the Magnolia covers. Yes. Yeah, I remember those. I picked them up too. I was such a X-Men fanatic that I even got the reprints of comics I already had. I read this book, Edna, trade paperback. Never once did I regret it. What was the point of the Watchers game besides being an excuse to have an old narrator to fill in readers? What was the purpose? Good question. What was the purpose? I mean, why did Stan Lee and Jack Kirby make up the Watcher? I don't know what the exact purpose was, but I know it was inspired by the Grimoire, the species of angels that are the Watchers. So it's literally ancient Jewish lore of a species, an order, a power, whatever you want of angels called the Watchers, and they are there to observe us. So this is just Jack Kirby, Stan Lee making this character, and they're observing it. Where a better place to observe us than he's the man in the moon? So he's literally the man in the moon observing us. Yeah, it drove me nuts even when the She-Hulk broke the fourth wall. It was clever. It was. I like those comics. I like John Byrne's She-Hulk a lot, but man, when she broke the fourth wall, it just drove me nuts. It took me out of the comic. Again, only and Deadpool does, but I never liked Deadpool. Sign up for Safeguard Pandemonium. Check that out. It looks so good. Everybody's saying hello to each other. Hi, Lord Zart. It's been so long since I've seen the Buff Watcher. I've only seen the super skinny version. Yeah, pretty much after this is the version that stuck going forward. But before this, there was like he looked like a buff Mr. Clean. Uatu was created as an X machine for the FF to beat Galactus. Well, he showed up in X-Men number 12, and Galactus showed up in issue 50. So he was around way before Galactus. Issue number 12 of Fantastic Four is one of the most important comics as far as Marvel Universe continuity. It was, the Red Ghost and the Super Apes go to the moon, and it introduced the Watch. It's such a good comic. I did a Sunday Comics about it. Wow, I'm up. This is gonna be a long one. Ba-boom. So now we got a 2-page spread. Philosophical question. Is a 2-page spread also a splash page? Because it's one panel, but it's 2 pages. That's for the philosophers to decide. The Fate of the Phoenix. We got this great 2-panel spread just with all of the main actors of this comic over here. So good. And you know what? I can't help but notice, because somebody pointed it out last issue, does Claremont and Byrne hate Iceman or something? He's the only X-Men, mainstream X-Men. I still never considered Polaris and Hobbit actual X-Men, even though they were. But like, Iceman is the only one who's not here. Why isn't Bobby Drake here? All the X-Men are here except for Iceman. And here we got, I'll go through the credits first. We got Chris Claremont, writer, co-plotters, penciler, John Byrne, Terry Austin, Tom Orzechowski, letterer, Glennis Wynn, colorist, Jim Scalacrup, and Louise Jones. I think this is the first appearance of Louise Jones as an editor. Everybody probably knows her better as Louise Simonson, Wheezy. She started out as sorry. Oh God. She's, so I think this is her first appearance as editor. And Jim Shooter, editor in chief. Now and we got Cyclops holding Phoenix. We got the Beast over here looking surprised. Nightcrawler. Wolverine, Angel. We got Storm, unfortunately, right in the crease, so it's hard to see her. We got Colossus holding Xavier, Gladiator, Empress Shi'ar, and I forget this guy's name. But that's her, like, advisor. There's always a Grand Vizier in all of these Imperial Roman. And then we got all of these, I always said that out of all, like, the three main empires in Marvel continuity, we got the Kree. The Kree are more scientifically illogical, cold, oppressive, order. Then we got the Skrulls, which they're more like chaotic, almost like a confederacy of individuals that shape change and whatever. And then we have the Shi'ar, which is more like a democratic empire, if that makes sense. They got the Imperial Senate, all of the different races to get together. Their main army, the Imperial Guard, is made up of members of all different races. They seem to be more egalitarian, except the bottom line is the Shi'ar in charge. We'll let you get within shooting distance of the Empress, but remember, we are in charge. We built this city on rock and roll. So let's wow, everybody's saying hello to each other. Yes, this is the original version of The Watcher. This is one of my favorite splash pages or 2-page spread. Yep. Salud. Oh, yeah, thank you. I sneezed because I forgot I sneezed already. You all the time I've read the story. I've never once did ask about Iceman. I didn't ask either until last issue in the chat. Somebody said, "Where's Iceman?" And I was like, "Oh yeah." Stormface being in the fold of the paper seems like a rookie mistake one Byrne should not have made. I know. Especially at the risk of being sexist. Storm sexy, and they completely eliminated the sex appeal of this character. Storm should have been over here. Colossus is big and wide. They could have put Colossus's shoulder right here. Absolutely right. And I know Dave is thinking about comic book art because he's making comic. Editor for Marvel. Louise was an editor for Warren before Marvel. Oh, okay. Yeah, so she's, and she becomes, if you're a comic book fan, a legend, I didn't know she was an editor for Warren magazines, rather. I call the character Fourth Wall Foster the gallant gumshoe with the sidekick Sneezo with the power to sniff out a clue. I have no idea what that means, but it made me giggle. Hey, Sam Sports, I really think they should do Eric the Red in live action. I think comic books should stick. I think comic book adaptations should stick to the source material better, but what do I know? I'm just a comic book fan. I just read a spoiler that the main twist in The Boys is just being ignored. I don't want to spoil it in case you haven't read the comic, but I've been waiting for the main twist to get revealed, and it doesn't matter. The whole point of the comic doesn't matter. What matters is we don't like Trump. So we got Bubble Yum over here. We got Captain Marvel. Speaking of the Kree, Captain Marvel. This is why Captain Marvel is beloved. He uses Twinkies in his fight for justice and individual rights. Only monsters, and I must stress, only monsters like fruit pies. And that's why Brian Bow of Wolf and Batsy, he makes comics about monsters and he eats fruit pies. I eat Twinkies and I make comic books about superheroes. That's scientific proof that fruit pies are evil. Sorry, Brian, but you need to be converted to the true way of Twinkies. Let's go to the next page. I don't know why. I don't know why the What's Happening music is my default filler music. Now talk about a busy page. Holy moly. Holy macaroons over here. We got a huge bunch of stuff happening over here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We got 11 pages of filler upper. And I don't mean like it's just filling space. It's filling us up to what's happening. It's setting. So this is a trial, and this is the prosecution's arguments. And now the sneeze has made my nose run. So, what's going on? Everything was cool. Everything was honky dory. Professor Xavier did the Deus Ex Machina, and everything's fine. She blew up a whole planet, but it's good now. Trust us, bro. And Leandra is not the bad guy, in my opinion. She has a response. You can't just go and kill planets in her jurisdiction, blow up stars in her jurisdiction, attack her ships that were doing nothing wrong. She is bound to this, to the point like it would be like we can't trust her to run the empire. And keep in mind, she's not the empress for too long. Remember, her brother Deken is the rightful emperor. He's a nut job, but this is a stable imperial empire, meaning the laws of succession says, obviously it's not male, but the oldest next in line becomes the emperor. Well, Deken was the emperor. They all knew he was crazy. He tried to destroy the universe, but he was still the emperor. And the laws of the Shi'ar Empire state that he is the empire, and we must follow him. Gladiator he's loyal to the throne, the line of succession. That doesn't matter who the person is. So he was a villain in his first appearance because the emperor was a villain. Now, she overthrew him and was considered an enemy of the Shi'ar state. And that's kind of why she was on Earth for a while. They were figuring out the legalities of it. And now they like, okay, we make an exception because this guy was a cuckoo bird. And she's in a shaky position. She's breaking the and as far as we know, it's not Tolkien as far as like we have all the rules of secession and everything like that. So she's new, and a planet got destroyed, a whole civilization she needs to show people that she is the boss. She's going to do the right thing, and she is doing the right thing. So Phoenix must be destroyed. Phoenix, me, why? They keep in mind the X-Men don't know. She went off into space, and they don't know. Okay, and then Cyclops saying, as I recall, Leandra, Phoenix stopped your brother from single-handedly destroying the universe. Is this how you repay her? And that's true. Phoenix, Deus Ex Machina, the Macran crystal. Emperor Deken, when you say this stuff out loud, it's kind of funny. Emperor Deken used the Macran crystal to summon Azathoth, and destroy the universe. And she battled Azathoth. I'm making up Azathoth because it's just that's the Lovecraft, the all-powerful god that destroys the universe if he wakes up. And she weaved the universe back together. The universe ceased to exist for a nanosecond, and she single-handedly rewove the universe. That's how powerful she is. And she's like, we had no quarrel with the Phoenix then, Cyclops. She seemed a benevolent entity. Though we suspected the full extent of her power, we feared it. We did nothing. I believed Jean could cope with her near infinite abilities. I was wrong. So, talking about mental illness, do we just arrest people when we're afraid that they might do something wrong? We can't. And this, to me, proves that Leandra is just. She had her suspicions. And if she had her suspicions, that means that this guy had his suspicions. This is the guy whispering in the ear, the Meister. And look, we got representatives from the Kree. We got representatives from the Skrull. And they all said this could be a problem, but there's no way she didn't do anything wrong. A despot would have, thank you, Phoenix, and then backstabbed her. No, she is a good guy. And Gladiator explains. She was in Shi'ar space, we called her the Chaos Bringer, and she destroyed the star of Dabare. It was an inhabited system. When it died, so did its planets, and there are 5 billion inhabitants. A Shi'ar warship intercepted, and Phoenix fought them. She destroyed it as well before returning to Earth. X-Men 135. The X-Men are blindsided. They had no clue. Now, so I guess she's able to stop Cyclops. It shows you that they have a rapport, but the rapport isn't just this passive thing. You need to deal with it. You need to concentrate up with it. Otherwise, they're sharing one mind kind of thing. No, it's just a highway that you need to drive on, to murder in an analogy. So Cyclops didn't know all of this because Jean Grey wasn't volunteering. They just have a connective path between each other's minds, but it's not just like everything just pours back and forth. So the X-Men didn't know about this. Angel's like, Jean, how could you? Oh, little one, dear sister, I have no words to comfort you, to ease your torment. Little bit of suicidal empathy over there on Storm's behalf, right? You just blew up a planet. You must be so devastated. You know what I mean? Oh my God, you just killed 6 million Jews, Hitler. You must feel so bad. Oh my God, Hitler, I can't believe how bad you must feel for killing those 6 million Jews. You know where I stand on this. And if what Gladiator says is true, part of me does not wish to forgive, true conflict, right? No. I felt it all happen through the psychic rep board I share with Jean, but I didn't understand. I didn't believe in this Dark Phoenix she killed without mercy or remorse. So that makes me think a little bit less of Cyclops. He felt it happen. Okay. I didn't realize that. So shame on you, Cyclops. But now she's Jean Grey again, and remember what she did is almost more than she could bear. Much as I personally wish things were otherwise, X-Men, as Empress, I have no alternative. Surrender her or suffer the consequences. So it's like she's doing the right thing. I'm sorry. I like you guys. Nothing personal. It's just business. But, and this, to me, is the beginning of the X-Men. As this is one of the greatest comics, if not the greatest single issue of all time. And it's the beginning of me not liking the X-Men. It doesn't matter that she blew up a planet. We like Jean. So therefore, it doesn't matter. We like her. We're the X-Men. We just want to be treated like everybody else, except we don't want to suffer the consequences of the actions just like everybody else. This is the beginning. This is the first hint of, like I said, this is the greatest single issue of all time, and it's the beginning of me despising the X-Men. Leandra's right. No, Leandra, you're speaking of Dark Phoenix, an entity that no longer exists. Professor Xavier exercised that evil part of Jean's self. Her power is under control. She's what she's become. She suffered enough. Let her be. She killed Hitler. Suffered enough. He's not Hitler anymore. Suffered, Earthling. Tell that to the spirits of the dead Dabari who cry out for vengeance. Be silent, Lord Chamberlain. What is undone once may be undone again. As long as Phoenix exists in any form or parallel, she's a deadly threat. I'm sorry, Cyclops, but I know you are sincere, but the risk is too great. Warriors, take her. What do you guys think? Am I wrong? Am I right? Leandra is 100% the good guy right here. Sorry. Sucks to be the ruler. You got to make harsh decisions. Shows that she's a good empress. They had their suspicions. They didn't act because there wasn't just cause. You know what I mean? Now, doesn't matter that you were mentally ill. You were mentally ill. That just means 5 billion people are dead because you were mentally ill. We got to do something about this. Oh, you fixed it? You giving her meds? You giving her meds? Oh, okay. Okay, just go off. You got meds then. Trust me, bro. And then Leandra, wait. Jean Grey, Aaron Nin Hayar. For Jean Grey's life, I challenge you to a duel of honor. So Xavier. Dun, dun, dun. And this is a perfect use of the page. We got a little cliffhanger right here. This is perfect comics. And let's go to the chat. Brimstone, how you doing, man? I miss good art and books like this these days with things off the rack. It's hit or miss. I do say that there are there's some great art right now. The writing is not up to snuff, but man, the art. I think Marvel, because I haven't picked up anything new by DC in a while, but the art seems to be picking up. Spoilers are lifted after the run is done. Yeah, I mean, once is the boys over? Is the boys over? I eat zebra cakes. What kind of freak am I? Oh man, I don't even know what a zebra cake is. Is it like a black and white cookie? Because if it is, I'm going to say something controversial about black and white cookies. The black part is good. The white part is just sugar. It just tastes like sweet. But the chocolate part tastes like chocolate. The white part just tastes like sugar. I'm really looking forward to the Batman sequel. The cast is amazing. Not to get away from this comic. I hope they actually make a Batman movie this time. I mean, the Batman was the closest to a Batman movie, but it was still not a Batman movie. Once you wear an armor and deflect the bullets off your chest, you're Iron Man. You're not Batman. As I recall, sounds like Cyclops is getting ready to mansplain something to an overly emotional. Yeah, actually, and they just so good, just so good. Let's turn my page. Oh no, we don't have an ad. We're going right into comics. And I love this big, gigantic word balloon. Empress Leandra is just like, magnificent, Charles. You learned much about the Shard during your too brief stay on our homeworld. The Aran Har is the one challenge that cannot be refused. Charles, my beloved, had the fates weaved a different tapestry, we might have had the stars. Instead, we now face nothing but the ashes of dying dreams. So keep in mind, Xavier's a telepath. She's talking directly to Xavier. And what is she saying? We just broke up. It's really sad, and it's really subtle. And I kind of come down on Claremont a lot, but this is wonderful. This is just great writing right here. Well, Empress, do you accept? Look at Xavier. They just broke up. They just like we have. Do you realize what you did? You didn't just challenge my authority as the Empress in a just duty to protect my people. You just did something, and we can't be a couple anymore. I love you, but it's over. What a shame. And she's still sticking to her. Empress Liar is the hero of the story. It's so good, and she's standing there all stern face. Oh, it's so good. And then with the Kree warrior over here, and the cool. I love these costumes with the crest. I love it. I love it. Majestrix. The Kree agreed that the Phoenix entity be expunged. Nothing was said of any duel of honor. Excuse me, Charles. It seems I must consult with my allies. Right? Basically said, we're going to kill the Phoenix. We didn't. What's this about a duel of honor right over here? Kree is just like, they're supposed to be just like matter of fact scientific. You know what I mean? We got to kill her. We're going to kill her. Honor? No, we got to do the right thing. We got to kill her. And the Skrulls just looking around like. So now she goes in, and they're talking with the Supremor, the Supreme Intelligence, the artificially created being made of all the greatest minds of the Kree. This ultimate artificial intelligence that rules the Empire, and then the female nominal ruler Raquel of the Empress of the Skrulls. And then, of course, she's got the Vizier. That's such a Marvel thing. The X-Men will fight regardless of these Terrans are a stubborn breed, but honorable. Their word can be trusted. The supreme intelligence of the Kree has no objection to this duel, nor do I, Raquel, Empress of the Skrulls, provided that the X-Men are not permitted to win. I love that. We don't care if you want to have a duel of honor. Great. Do whatever you got to do, provided it's not fair. Provided you do what I want. How slimy and Skrull is that? Yeah, you can have a duel of honor. That's great. I got no problems with it, provided the X-Men die. And to assure this, our representatives were required to monitor the battle. My liege, no. I must stand beside this misbegotten maid of a mudworm. You ask too much of me. Which shows you this. You note that the Kree didn't object. The Kree is just like, all right, we got to do what we got to do. The Skrull kind of have like a little individualness to them. Stay behind, Skrull. The petty bickering between your races is not concerned. I'm here for one reason, to end forever the threat of Phoenix. hinder me in any way, Elliot, and your life is forfeit. Now we got Empress Leia laying down the smackdown. Stop fighting. I got a job to do. You get in the way of me doing my job, I'll just get rid of you too. And we got your gambit was successful, Charlotte. I accept your challenge. I pray that you will not live long enough to regret what you did. Professor Jet had no right to issue a challenge in all our names without consulting us. The beast is over here. But it did buy us time to consider our alternative. How could we let one of our own be condemned without a fair trial or any trial at all? I thought you knew the X-Men better than that, Leandro. Easy, beast. This is the only thing. Is there a fair trial? Is there due process? Without due process, you have tyranny. So, again, Beast ain't wrong here. Beast ain't wrong. And I remember as a kid being confused by this because it was like, I've seen the evidence. I know objectively that Phoenix is wrong. So I was just like, Leandra's right. She's got to do what she's got to do. And Beast to me seemed like a little, I don't know, not whiny, but now as an adult, I understand Beast's position. Okay, I'm not saying Jean's wrong. I'm just saying there's no due process here. Without due process, you have tyranny. I mean, it is an empire after all. So, and this conflict is what makes this comic so great, is we're talking about stuff like that. Easy, Beast. Your courage and loyalty do you credit. You will have a day to rest, to recover your strength, and to prepare. The duel begins at dawn. And the Empress, she's tempered by mercy. She's an absolute monarch, or maybe not. I don't know if she's an absolute monarch, but she's the Empress. Her will be done, tempered with mercy. To me, the benevolent monarch. That's I make no bones about it. The benevolent monarch is the best system of government. The problem is, how do we ensure that the person that we install as the benevolent monarch is a benevolent monarch? That's why we disperse the power of the rulers as divided as possible, because humans are corruptible. Brings us back to the first thing. So now we got this Jean Grey. She's in this real cool alien but homey room, and she's thinking about it. Only hours ago, is that all? And keep in mind how fast this is. This is still the same day that they fought the Hellfire Club. This is just hours ago that she, this is all like within 24 hours. Only hours ago, is that all? Dark Phoenix, I held the whole Phoenix in the palm of my hand. For a while, I was almost God. I was terrible and beautiful, an angel. I didn't want that awesome power. I didn't, but I did it just the same. Now the time has come to pay the price. God merciful, God help me, give me strength. Beautiful foreshadowing. Because as you're reading this, it was me as a kid, give me strength to win this challenge. No, it's give me strength to do what I know I got to do. That's what she's praying for. It's absolutely beautiful. Well, lady, is this the garment you requested? Yes, it looks fine. Leave it there, please. I'll let you know if there are any problems. I like to be alone. Now, this introduces the only flaw in the story. The only flaw, but it's a necessary flaw, or we don't have a comic. Right now, Jean made up her mind about what she needs to do. And I'm not going to spoil it, but we all know what Jean does, right? Let me know in the chat if you don't know what she does. So why drag the X-Men into a combat where they could get killed? Because we need the comic book, right? It's a necessary flaw. So good, so good. And I'm loving it even more now. This is probably the issue of the X-Men I read the most. Loved everything about it. It is so good. It is so good. And I'm curious, could you enjoy this without knowing all comic book lore? You know what I mean? I read all the X-Men. I read all the Avengers. So, every little nod to everything is just pinging. It's just hitting everything. So I just wonder if this was your very first comic book. You're just some guy. You're a kid. You're playing sports and football, and you go to your friend's house, and this comic book is, hey, this looks cool, and you read it. Do you think it would have the resonance that it does for somebody? I don't know. What do you think about Byrne's else want to continue this. I didn't read it yet. I can't wait to read it. I can't wait. It's the first time. It's the first time I'm excited about a Marvel comic book since 2015. I read them all out of order. Yeah, you're all the way there in Europe. Just look at this. Just so good. All right, let's turn the page. Yes, no ads. So, Nightcrawler can't sleep. Nightcrawler can't sleep. He's jumping around in the space danger room. A lot of thinking. Too much to read, but he's going through his rationality. For all the Beast Bravo, I have a nasty feeling this battle may be where our luck runs out. The other X-Men have fought the Imperial Guard before. He is not. They're alien super beings with abilities and as varied and as powerful as our own. The last time we met, it took a minor miracle for us to defeat them. But then again, miracles seem to be the X-Men stock, blah, blah, blah. As a child in the circus, I knew of people who survived the Holocaust and Nazi death. I cannot forgive. So he's rationalized everything. I'm actually going to read this. I said I wasn't, but I'm going to. I wish I felt as confident about the reason for this duel. I once thought I would defy the devil himself for Jean. Now I'm not so sure. As a child in the circus, I know people who had survived the Holocaust, the Nazi death camps. I still cannot forgive the butchers responsible for those atrocities. Then how can I forgive Jean? I wish I knew what to do, which way to choose. Perhaps a shower will help me decide. The workout certainly isn't helping. I could teleport. So he knows Jean's guilty. He knows Jean's guilty. He knows there must be punishment. He knows there must be the stakes, and he's also Roman Catholic, so go figure. And boop, now all of a sudden he goes to stick to the wall. It's frictionless. He can't stick, and Angel saves him. And then, you sound sad. Do I? It's because perhaps I've discovered doubts. I just bumped into the camera. I gotta remove it, and then I gotta put it back. There we go. I knocked the focus out. I didn't expect to find any here for the. We're supposed to fight for Jean, and I don't know yet if I could do that. And that hurts. So Angel now is realizing Jean's wrong. So we're going down the list of everybody. Kurt realizes Jean's wrong. Jean knows Jean's wrong. Angel knows Jean's wrong. And now we got Wolverine walking around naked. Nice digs. Okay place to spend the night, but I'd go batty if I was forced to live here, because this time tomorrow I may not have to worry about living anywhere. I ain't scared to die. See, already he made his decision. Never have been. I happen to be one day, whether I wanted it or not. So why worry about wasting that? I got a bad feeling about this fight. Nobody understands Jean like I do. How arrogant. He knows Jean better than anybody else. When she's become two separate entities, Jean Grey and the Phoenix. Jean ain't a killer. She can't be held responsible for Phoenix's actions. So, but can the professors really have split the two entities apart? Surprising. And they're setting up for the fact that Phoenix is different. Suppressing Phoenix and leaving Jean, I hope so. But if push comes to shove, and if I have to make a choice, I'm standing with Jean all the way. So, Wolverine is Berserker Rage, Instinct. He's the Manny, not the logos. I've been reading up on Plato, so he's more of motion, rather logic. And then we got the Beast in the bubble bath. It's been a long time since I lost my temper like that, but I'm not about to back down. So out of all of the arguments, Nightcrawler is like she blew up a planet. I can't deal with this. Nightcrawler's like, Angel's like, yeah. Wolverine's just like, doesn't matter. Jean's my friend. I understand Berserker Rage, because if Wolverine condemns Jean, he is also condemning himself. He has to defend Jean to defend himself, right? He loses control and does things he regrets. So this is basically him having an existential crisis. I need to defend Jean, otherwise I'm just as bad. Cup of coffee. And I know it's a big comic, so I got the big old mug. So now we got the beast over here. It's been a long time, but the law separates humanity from its animal ancestors. And like it or not, the law protects everyone. Good, evil, victim, criminal. It has to be, or civilization ain't worth beans. If Jean were Satan incarnate, I'd still grant her the full benefit of the law. After all, we only have Leandra's word for what happened, and that the Phoenix still exists within Jean. If she wants Jean's life, she should prove her case in a proper court, beyond a reasonable doubt, and give Jean a chance to defend herself. Leandra's exercise of raw, naked power might makes right is as representable in its own way as the Dark Phoenix. And I, for one, am not going to stand for it. Well, hello. I'm your masseuse, sir. I've been sent after to look for your every need. Oh, my stars and garters. We got sexy green alien. So Beast makes the best argument. She might be guilty, but we can't just go around issuing imperial decrees and killing people. And out of all of the arguments, I'm with the Beast over here. You know, she got to have due process. Got to have that guy who killed that woman on the subway. He's mentally unfit. You know, they didn't say he didn't do it. They just said he's not capable. So to me, that was due process. Get rid of him. You know, but I do believe in vigilante justice in the moment. You know what I mean? In the moment. We can't just, like 10 years ago, you killed my brother, prepare to die kind of things. Defending yourself, defending your property. I do feel that you have the right to defend your property because your property is an extension of your life. I worked 56 hours overtime last week, 2 weeks ago rather, and I did stuff with that money. You don't get to come here. I paid mortgage. I did this. I did that. You don't get to mess up with my personal property because that was my life. My life paid for that. So my property is an extension of my life. But Beast over here, he makes the best case. We got to have due process. We got to have due process. Otherwise, what are we? We're just animals. Wolverine, I need to defend Jean, to defend myself. Kurt, this horror is going on. And I don't know if I can deal with these Angel, they're on the same side. And then Beast, we got to do due process. Oh, it's time for a massage. Soda Jerk Classic. This story was my very first introduction to the X-Men. Wow. Yeah. As an aside, that might turn into a long, but everybody says, oh, comic books are inaccessible. We got to break them down and make them easy for the people. If this was your first comic and you freaking still here, you're still here 40 years later. It just shows you. Like that, I saw a meme that was just like, everybody complains comic books. My first comic book was Legion of Superheroes 247, part 17 of a 19-part series. And, if the comic is good enough, you will do the work. And this is proof of it. K-Mac User. How you doing, K-Mac User? That a great comic cover. Iconic. It absolutely is. Absolutely yes. Elsewhere is due on June 23rd, 1 of 3 volumes, 232 pages. Nice. I pre-ordered it. A lot of sales in mid-bed comics rested on the effect of these great comics had. These books drew us in, made us care. Yeah. These comics were so good. It made a 35-year habit of buying Marvel, even when I didn't like it. I'm going to say like for 7 or 8 years, I was like, I don't even like these comics, and I still buy them based on how good they were. Oh no, we got an ad. We got Hulk over here struggling to read something. We got these Air Force and Navy toys. Do kids still play with Army men? And then we got Colossus. Is it dawn already? Have I slept through the whole night? I like reading their justifications for this. It's fun to have their personal thoughts of each character of a great philosophical argument. Basically, this is the debate of civilization. What the powers of the government, just cause, do we execute people? Are we going to have does society have a duty? This is just all the important stuff. The moment of truth approaches. I know Dark Phoenix is evil. I have felt the power, yet I also know Jean Grey. I have felt her love. I owe her my life. When we, the X-Men, fought Dark Phoenix, we were not trying to destroy her, but cure her. We fought out of love. That has not changed. To leave Jean to Phoenix's fate now, after having struggled so hard to save her, would be a denial of that love, yet a betrayal I will not commit. So, out of all of them, this is just basically in for a penny, in for a pound. You know, I love Jean, and I'm going to fight for that. I'm not saying she's evil. She did something wrong, but I love her, and and we're a team. I'm loyal. Colossus is just I'm a ride or die kind of guy, And then Storm, Dawn on Earth. What is marked by the eternal beauty of sun? Here it's a chime. I prefer the sunrise. Oh, for those happy days when I was simply a Wind Rider. I was free. Yet I chose to join the X-Men, to leave my African home of my own free will. The X-Men have become my family, and Jean Grey, the beloved sister I never had. How ironic. Dark Phoenix's symbolizes all that I abhor, but knowing that she is Jean, I find that I could no more deny that than I could deny myself. I love Jean. As parcel of what I love, I shall use my elemental powers to defend her to the death. To me, that's the most selfish reason. It doesn't matter what she does. I'm going to defend her to the death. She can blow up another planet as far as I'm concerned. To me, that's the weakest out of all the arguments. And then we got, of course, Cyclops over here. Today's contest is not a duel to the death, but in trying to save Jean, one of us, all of us might die. And I cannot help but thinking, what if Leandra is right? Suppose we win today, and then the psychic circuit breakers that Professor Xavier placed in Jean's mind fail. Dark Phoenix will be free once more, with the whole universe at our mercy, and it will have been our fault. I've been wrestling with this problem, this fear, all night. I still don't have an answer. Maybe there isn't one. Great. He's absolutely right. Absolutely right. Damn it, it isn't fair. Whenever you say that, you automatically lose. Whatever you say, damn it isn't fair. You lose. After all we've been through, all the good that Jean's done, to have it end like this, I guess that's what the people on Dabari thought when their sun exploded. Again, this guy's going through torment right now. Absolute torment right now. He knows Leandra's right. He knows it. He absolutely knows it. I've been leader of too long. I could see Leandra's position as clearly as my own. If our positions were reversed, would I be acting any differently than she? I'd like to think yes. If vengeance is demanded, it's not vengeance. It's justice. Vengeance, like God meant it, I'd rather err on the side of mercy. No matter what the cost, you're reading my mind. I no longer have the power Phoenix got. I'm still a telepath, and I still say our psychic report. You're dressed as Marvel Girl. Why? I'm not sure. Nostalgia, pride. I started out as Marvel Girl, and that's how I'll finish. Scott, am I worth it? I destroyed a world. In my mind, I could still hear the screams of the dying, and it felt good. I don't ever want to have that feeling again, and yet I do. That would be like saying that the Dark Phoenix has won and that you're evil. You're not. Jean, whatever happens, I love you, I stand by you, and I with all my heart. So Jean knows. It's like a junkie. I know it was wrong, but and Scott knows she's wrong too. And I think Scott's just like, he's just willing to die. He's like, he knows she's wrong. He knows they can't win. Just, it's too much. We're going to die together kind of thing. That's what I think. Oscar's first comic was Amazing Spider-Man 14, First Green Goblin. Great comic. I can picture the cover. I always thought Colossus's power was the coolest. It's funny that you said that, because all the X-Men that were all so cool. And every time I picked one that was my favorite, something else would happen and I would switch my favorite. That's how good the team was. They were all cool. As opposed to Alpha Flight, Guardian was my favorite. Just the cool costume, the cool power set, And then they killed him. So I'm like, oh, okay. Every time I picked a favorite, they would kill him. Though Storm is a great leader. She's the boss queen. Yeah, Queen Slay. To me, she's the most naive one here. You know, like she just hand waves everything. It's like the shallowest thinking out of all of them. I just love Jean. She's my sister. Uh, I love my sister. Like no thought to any of victims or anything like that. It's really the shallowest. Like I can't. Colossus is just like, we fought for love. We fought so much. It's kind of like we made such an effort. We made such an effort, and like all that effort is for waste if we just give up now. Like I can respect that. But and then Cyclops over here is like, we're wrong, and you know what? I'm gonna go out in a blaze of glory with the girl I love. It's almost like a twisted Bonnie and Clyde. You know what I mean? I kind of respect this Cyclops, although I always thought he looked goofy with the glasses, but whatever. The coolest he ever looked was those little pocket glasses that he had in the Savage Land. But let's go. And I love this insect design of the ship. So we got this insect ship over here. It's so freaking cool. And what are they doing? It's been nearly 8 years since Apollo 11, blah, 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 blah. And now they're all talking. So Cyclops is giving everybody an out right here. I just want to tell you that I'm fighting for Jean. I won't ask any of you to join me. I have it the right, and I won't think any less of you decide not. Scott, we talked amongst ourselves before we got here. We all agreed we're with you and Jean to the end. Thanks, Warren. Thanks to all of you. So now the X-Men and the Imperial Guard will fight until one team or the other is defeated. If the X-Men win, those who survive will be set free. If my Imperials win, Phoenix Jean Grey is ours to do with as we will. Will you abide by those terms? We will. We have our word. And he teleports them down. I wish you well. Today I must play the role of executor. Yet I would give anything to be fighting at your side. Beam them down, technician. The X-Men face hopeless odds, Majestrix. They are exceptional. Suppose they win. They will not win. You have my word on that. Okay, so I never thought about this. This is really it just popped into my head the first time. Does she have an ace up her sleeve? Is she willing? Is she going to cheat? We never find out, right? I wonder, did she have an ace in her hole? Or does she just believe that the Imperial Guard is that powerful? I wonder. She's like, this is all this talk about honor. It's I don't know. I never thought about that. What do you guys think? Interesting. So boom, they're teleported to the blue area of the moon. I love the blue area of the moon. It's just one of those things that makes Marvel Comics such a fun universe to explore. And then this face, all of these artifacts, it's so freaking fun. It's so cool. I love this. I recognize this place from the Avengers files. It's called the blue area of the moon. These ruins reach deep beneath the lunar surface, and yet somehow there's an Earth-normal environment extending all throughout them. Beyond the top of the crater, though, we're in open space, a hard vacuum. I've side-scanned the crater, Scott. I can detect no other thoughts. We're alone here. That won't last long, people. On your toes. I briefed you on the Imperials. We fought before, and they added some new members. We know their names and nothing about their powers. We have to be ready for anything. Just so cool. Colossus is always on the wrong side for the right reason. That's a good way to put it. I always thought Colossus, he's the Superman of the group. There's a reason why he's blue and red, and he's a farm boy from Siberia. Next page. All right. Hold it. I'm picking up multiple telepathic impressions. They just popped into view. There, Genie. That flash of light on the far side of crater. Must be the guard teleporting. I'll take a look-see. Angel, no! I thought this was so cool. So Angel swoops his wings, and he immediately flies beyond the rim of the crater. Why? Moon's gravity. He's 1/6 of Earth's gravity. So his swoops push him farther. I can't breathe. It's freezing. So he's moving, Cyclops, trying to break He's still alive. I'll catch him. Be careful, Storm. I don't want you flying off into space as well. And then she's thinking, this limited environment is going to make it tough for me to use my powers. So she's handicapped already. Go limp. Angel, I got Lucha scratches Storm. I acted without thinking as usual. Up here, my wings will take me farther and faster. I pulled some dodo stunts in my day, but this one's right in cap. So I just love that. Just showing you that things are a little different. But as far as I know, they don't really play up the effects of the gravity for the rest of the story. Well, I'll point it out. You made a mistake, Angel. That's all. I have an act for doing that. Warren, how do you... I feel dumb. I screwed up. Think next time, buddy, where you are. There are all the 8 of us. With Jean's life at stake, we can't afford to make mistakes. You got away with it once. Don't push your luck. Cyclops Wolverine has spotted the Imperial Guard there. They're heading this way. Do we make a stand, boss? When we're ready, Wolverine, and on our terms. We start with hit-and-run tactics to throw the Imperials off balance and whittle down their forces. For now, we'll split up. We've got these runes beasts. Let's use them for our advantage. So they split the party. But Cyclops knows they're the underdog. So what are they going to do? They're going to do what every underdog army in the history of the world does. Use the environment for their advantage. Hit and run tactics. They can't. It's like the Viet Cong. They can't take on the American army right away. So hit them, move, hit them. It's going to be a war of attrition. Any telepathic sign? Oracle must be blocking my probes. I don't want to push too hard. She might be able to backtrack. Good move. Uh-oh. This plaza's wide open. Almost no cover. Perfect place for an ambush. We're going to be ambushed. Nightcrawler, you go ahead. As you command, fearless leader. It's so funny, though. I was going to say, we got Angel, who's basically useless. Marvel Girl's powerful. I mean, she's not Phoenix anymore. Cyclops is awesomely powerful. Nightcrawler's not really that powerful. They got all the heavy hitters over here. Comic books for sale. Look at all this. I always like looking at like, what are the prices? Hulk 181. Hulk 181, $3.50. $3.50. Get Hulk 181 for $3.50. Let's turn the page. So boom, we got fire. Watch out. You cannot hide from us, X-Men. You cannot escape. No matter how hard you try, you will not win. We'll see about that, Starbolt. Angel, take off. So I like this. They're introducing a bunch of characters, and they're telling us their names in the midst of the story, so we're not too confused. Because this is going to be a big old group of this is Marvel's version of the Legion of Superheroes. Not even a joke. It really is. So we got Starbolt. That's Sunboy. We got Oracle. Oracle is a dream girl, and the albino lady is called Oracle. According to Sykes, she's got psi powers like Marvel Girl. The other guy is Smasher. So Smasher is Ultra Boy. He even has kind of the same symbol. Nightcrawler, Genie can handle the ladies. So that's Oracle. She looks like a Manta. I can't think of her name. This is Oracle. She's Manta, and I think she's supposed to be Shadow Lass. So she's Saturn Girl. That's Fire Lad, whatever his name is, Sun Boy. That's Ultra Boy. You hear that? Sykes firing his optic blast is pretty near full power. Sounds like the fight started without us. Our friends, should we not go to their aid? We should not, Colossus. As much as we like to, Sykes' team is just on its own, just as weird. Don't worry, though. There's probably more enough villains to go around. See what I mean? And then we got this. Organic beings, we are War Star. We offer a choice. Honorable surrender or honorable death. So we got War Star. Who is War Star, then? Is War Star Block? So he's just big robot thing. Colossus just punches him. And then I love this. This little guy just jumps out and fights the beast. Whoa. Hey, there's 2 of them. Give me 5 seconds. So we got Beast just rolling around over here. Colossus hit the big guy. And then Storm's about to do something. And we got the hand over here. Gladiator. That I cannot allow. Gladiator. He ripped the floor. He knocked some of us in some sort of pit. Now, here's the funny thing. Like, now they were in like stone ruins, and now they're in like technological ship. So, a little bit of inconsistency. Like over here, it's like a tunnel. Where are they? Are they walking through a ship? Are they walking through the ruins? Yeah. Yeah. Oracle is Saturn Girl. Correct. Thank you. This fight, it was the closest I got to the X-Men versus the Legion. Yes, exactly. And of course, Gladiator is Superboy. So, caught you. It's getting to be a habit, snatching X-Men from the brink of doom. Now, keep in mind, she's able to just grab Wolverine. She's always grabbing everybody. So Storm has to have some sort of enhanced strength. But I'll allow it here because everybody weighs 1/6. Because now we have to go fly back. The others won't be easy. It takes me extra more concentration than usual. Generate winds and manipulate. Look, that building, it's pure crystal. It's totally unlike the ruins around it, and it seems brand new. Guess what, Storm? It's got a watchdog, too. I am called Earthquake Mammals. Behold the reason why. So, Earthquake. It's funny that he's called Earthquake when he's not even from Earth. His name should just be Quake or Quaker. Behold, the ground. Can't keep my balance. So who is Earthquake? Who is Earthquake as far as the Legion of Superheroes? None of them I know have Earthquake powers. So, and Wolverine gets tossed into this crystal structure, and then Storm is just going nuts. Earthquake, you claim to control the earth beneath her feet. Hey, she's just blasting him with hurricane winds and rocks. Storm is concentrating on Earthquake. She hasn't noticed me. That could prove to be a fatal mistake. My Neuro Whip should take her out of the fight. Many thanks, Hussar. I can handle things from this point. So Hussar is? There's no analog for Hussar, and it's funny because what does Hussar mean? I got to look it up. Anybody look up Hussar? The X-Men give us no more trouble, huh? Hussar, first blood to the Imperial Guard, a good omen. No, so he just blasts her as she's being choked out. And then I always love this panel. We got Marvel Girl blasting Oracle. Cyclops is fighting Starbolt, and then Nightcrawler's doing nothing. Angel is dealing with Smasher. I keep saying the wrong name. That's Manta. And then Oracle's just flying around doing nothing. Nightcrawler's doing nothing. I never liked the name Earthquake. It's too simple on the nose. Plus, they're on the moon. Plus, he's from another planet. Why isn't he called Zlomquake? Because he's from the planet Zlom. You know what I mean? It just bothers me. Like you know how I. And then Hussar. Can anybody look up Hussar? Isn't that like a name of like a Polish mercenary or something like that? What does it mean? Why would a historical name be on the Legion of Superheroes? Her name should be just like Lasher or something like that. I was just reading the original Dead at 17. I'm back. God, I love comics. Yeah. Dead at 17 is so good. Josh Howard's Dead at 17. I highly recommend it. Josh Howard, for those of you who don't know, he did the variant cover of Mary Sue for Heroic Tales 2. He's so good. He draws the cutest girls. Guys, I love Dead at 17, but I love T-Bird and Throttle. Did think of that. You had some of the best character names. Maybe all these names are just the Earth that's the only thing that makes sense. These are Earth translations, and because Gladiator is a terrible name. I loved it as a kid, but as I grew up to know what a gladiator is, an athlete. He's and he's an athlete who fights for glory and money. And Gladiator is anything but. The comic book Gladiator is anything but. I would have. I know they wanted some sort of Roman name or whatever, but like Praetor would have been a better name than Gladiator. But what do I know? Oh, Hussar may not be pulling from that for a character in the Phenomenova universe. Hussar, it's Hussar. I forgot they used it for this. Hussar was a heavily armored Hungarian cavalryman. Right. I said Polish. Right. So why? It just makes no sense. Some of these names make no sense. Earthquake makes sense, but it doesn't make sense in the fact that he's not from Earth. his name should be Quake. Hussar, why is she named after a Hungarian cavalryman? She's not riding a horse. She's not Hungarian, and she's not from Earth. I have to ask, after this epic, what's next for the X-Men? After this is a couple of issues of Calm, and then we go to Days of Future Past. Plus, you were Polish. Who Polish is Hussary, which is what I'm going to use. Oh, okay. There you go. So I got overlap on some names too. You know what I mean? It's like can't be helped at some point, but also are you distinct? And does anybody really know this character? Oop, I think I skipped a page. Did I skip a page? Yes, I did. Okay. So we got Nightcrawler doing what Nightcrawler does, which is nothing. How many times did I say Nightcrawler does nothing? So he's just standing there observing. Teleport up there and punch a guy. Teleport up there and punch a guy. So I know later on Grant Morrison made Smasher ultimately powerful, but at this point he's dealing with Angel, who's slightly stronger than the average bear. My mind, everything's gone bluey. Too late, Nightcrawler, I've stunned him. So we got Oracle just dealing a side power at Angel. And while this Angel being is helpless, Smasher will finish him off in a style that's famed and feared throughout the Empire. So Smasher just throws Angel down into the bottomless shaft, and Nightcrawler is going after him to save his buddy. And then back to Wolverine. I just love how they're cutting back and forth. It's something I got to master. I haven't really written a group superhero fight yet. So it's something I gotta figure out the timing for. I passed out. What happened to Aura? Wow, where am I? So, and it's just a wonderful nod to Fantastic Four number 12, the first appearance of the Watcher. So he's just walking out. What's going on? He's having a sensory overload right now. And remember, Wolverine is the most connected to the here and now as far as like his, he's animalistic. I'm the Watcher. This is my domicile. You're not welcome here, Wolverine. I'm getting tired of being bounced around. Like, you want to make something up? He's popping, and then boom. Because I pledge never to interfere. I observe. However, I'm permitted to warn you of the many devices I have in my house. So just like, was it Ben Grimm? I forget who did this happen to. Was it the Thing or the Human Torch? I could send you into the past or the future. Return at your own risk. So you've been warned. I can't stop you from coming into my house, but I can let you know what you're setting yourself up for. You come back into my house, maybe you'll get sent into the past, maybe you'll get sent into the future, but I can't stop you. I am the Watcher. I observe only, but you've been warned. Boom, and Wolverine's tossed out. It's literally, this page is just taken from Fantastic Four number 12. Autocorrect. There's the name for your next hero. I am Autocorrect. Autocorrect is evil. Nightcrawler is doing less than Angel. Yeah, Nightcrawler. I know Nightcrawler's got a big fan base, but he doesn't do much. In English, there are a different word for the planet and the element Earth. Well, dirt, Earth, capital E means the planet, lowercase just means the material that it's made of, And it's funny because in a couple of comics, they're explaining the name of the planet, and the translator comes in and is like, "You named your planet dirt?" I had to write my first big superhero fight in issue 4. It took me longer than I thought, but I grew a lot as a writer. It's tough. I'm writing the introduction of the Go-Getter. There you go, Vaughn and Andrew and I made a promo of our speedster characters, and Andrew just digs at me. John's got to give a story for the Go-Getter. So I'm like, okay. So I'm writing the Go-Getter joins the Meta League, and it's going to be the Meta League. That's my team. That's my Avengers. And they're going to be fighting a group of villains. And, it's pretty intimidating to keep track of everybody. Psychic Colossus are my favorite X-Men. It's official this time. Kick Dong Box. Nightcrawler is king. Dong Box is so clever. It's so clever because you take one letter and change it, and That's why there's such good writers over there. So clever. And we turn the page. We got Marvel merchandise. Hulk or Spider-Man glasses. Oh man, we got Spider-Man glasses. I want these. Oh, you can't see. What do the Hulk glasses look like? Oh my God, Spider-Man glasses. That is awesome. We got to get Spider-Man glasses, ladies and gentlemen. We need Spider-Man glasses. Go on eBay, see if we can get Spider-Man glasses. Of Mr. Freeze. So we got a floaty that looks like these freeze pops. That's pretty brilliant. And now we're back. This is awesome. Awesome. Bub, you got one heck of a way to say no trespassing, but I get the message. My guts, my mind, my soul, everything feels like it's been torn inside out. So he's all shaken up. Wolverine, thank heaven you're all right. Not even Proteus made me feel this shaky. But he leveled up since Proteus. That's a matter. Thank heavens you're all right. That's a matter of opinion, babe. Something's wrong. This looks like Aurora. Sounds like her. Acts like her. But my instincts, my senses are telling me this ain't her. Trouble is, after what the Watchers Funhouse just did to me, do I trust those feelings? Always have before. But I guess there ain't no buts about Wolverine. What are you doing? So Storm's just coming up, massaging his shoulders. And he grabs Storm by the head and flings her, hoping I just didn't make a big mistake. Her hands, as I threw her, they were tightening around my neck. Storm was starting to strangle me. Impossible. You could not have seen through my disguise. A shape changer. Where'd you come from, bub? You ain't one of the Imperial Guard. I am Raxor Terran. I am a Skrull warrior. I am your death. So he is acting like Chameleon Boy. He's a Legion of Superheroes. Brilliant. The Legion of Superheroes has Chameleon Boy, a Durlan shape changer. The Durlan are like the Skrulls of DC, and now we got an actual Skrull doing Chameleon Boy shtick. It's so good. I love this. So he just jumps. Boom, and then he gets zapped. Just because my Skrull ally is too terrified to defend himself, X-Men, does that mean that he's completely helpless? At least not as long as the Kree warrior is here to protect him. This is the ultimate diss right here. Be thankful I did not leave you to your fate, Skrull. We were meant to be observers, not combatants. You saved me. You? That insult I will not endure. And he turns into this toad demon. Holla. It's just so good. So good. And I just love the arrogance, the pose. I mean, he could have just let Wolverine. Wolverine kill him, but it was worth it to him to humiliate him. So he blasts Wolverine. Wolverine's already all messed up, and now that's just it. I don't believe it. I've lost Angel. He should have dropped right into my arms, yet during the split second it took me to teleport, disappeared. I've been searching for him, but these catacombs have more twists and turns than Arcade's murder world. And now I have the uncomfortable feeling I'm lost. It seems I'm not alone down here. I believe she's called Manta, and I'll lay any odds that she's behind Angel's disappearing. So if I remember correctly, she is Shadowlass, but Shadowlass's powers are darkness. Manta's powers seem to be some sort of like fluorescence. I don't really know what Manta does. They never really explained it, but it's a cool character design. Such good writers that they can't make comics. What do you want me to say? Wolverine versus Timberwolf. They're the same character. They are literally the same character. Read Legion of Superheroes. He's got the same hair. They got the same powers. They got the same attitude. Timberwolf, and I think Marcus, did Timberwolf debut before Wolverine? But they are the same character. There you go. Wolverine is Timberwolf. The only difference is Timberwolf doesn't have the extendable claws. Manta as a name for an alien also makes no sense. None of these names make sense. The only thing you could say is these are Earth translations. Now, I have an alien superhero team, basically an homage to the Imperial Guard, and I tried to make their names sound alien. Like it would make no sense to have Earth references as their name. Like one of them is a teleporter. So his name is Void Jumper. That's the Earth translation, not Earth teleporter. Void Jump. I think that makes sense. I'm trying to. uh, and they have an archer character. He's not Green Hour. He's the unerring archer, because it sounds kind of the unerring archer. Timberwolf was before Wolverine. There you go. There you go. Let's turn the page. I doubt I could find him on my own, but if I could just stay in the shadows where I'm almost invisible and follow Mantra, she might lead me to him. Don't try to hide from me, Nightcrawler. It'll simply be wasted effort. And she turns around and she blasts them with some nondescript power. You thought the shadows would keep you safe, but they would have from one with normal vision. But I see an infrared. And against that cool stone, your warm living body stood out like a supernova. That's two more Terrans beaten. I wonder how much more of the strike force is faring. So what are her powers? I still don't know. Does anybody know what Manta does? What are her powers? Warstar is not doing well. I thought Beneath and Celie could deal with these X-Men. My mistake. My foe is down, Beast. Hang on. I will be at your side in a moment. So, Beast and Colossus are taking out one member of the Imperial Guard, and Gladiator's just watching. We got the super gifts and gimmicks. And then, too late, big fella. So he just shocks him. This hefty jolt of electricity certainly took out our furry friend in a hurry. Such an attack will not work against me, creature. Let's see what difference. Let's see you make jokes when I twist your head into a pretzel. So Colossus just he defeated the big portion of this robot. The little portion beats the Beast. Get to Beneath, Colossus. To get to Beneath, Colossus, in fact, to get to any other members of the Imperial Guard, you have to get through me first. So, boom, great panel. And quite frankly, I don't think that's possible. So Gladiator is now getting into the fight. What a blow. This alien seems as strong as me. I wonder if he's impervious to harm. Perhaps you are right, Gladiator. But since joining the X-Men, I've learned that anything is possible. Great panel over here. We will prevail. Bobby hits him with the column. I call this the Mike Baron rule. Nobody talks in a real fight, but comic books aren't real. This big long soliloquy in the middle of a fight. As long as we stand, we fight. And so long as we fight, no matter what the odds, we will prevail. And then Gladiator just stands there. And then we got this great panel over here. They stand toe-to-toe, neither of them yielding an inch as they trade punch after punch of awesome power. The fight is brutal, a clash of modern titans. Two men of steel, one an irresistible force, the other an immovable object, battling without letting up, giving everything they have. In the end, though, it is not they who decide the issue. Rather, it is the ancient, fragile structures around them. So just the world collapses around these two titans. Oh, it's so good. So good. No comments. We will turn the page. See, this would have done better as a page break, but whatever. At first, the outcome was in doubt. Shockwaves from the skyscrapers collapsed, thunder across the giant crater, followed minutes later by an unnatural silence. Then amid the mountains of rubble, a boulder moves, and suddenly, relentlessly, the victor emerges. Oh, no. Oh, my X-Men, I thought I felt you had a chance. I never dreamed things would end up like this. Forgive me, my children. Just another Xavier mess up. They were going to kill just Phoenix. Now they're going to kill all the X-Men, and it's all your fault, you dope. I know I'll never forgive myself. I warned you, Charles. As each X-Men falls, another piece is cut from your heart, as is one from mine. I want to comfort you, to be with you in your hour of need, but I cannot. I'm Empress. I must do my duty, no matter what the cost. Remember, she's got... Sometimes duty is a hell of a thing. So now, Scott, I've lost telepathic contact with all the X-Men. I think we're the only ones left. So much for my brilliant strategies. These optic blasts are making these Imperials keep their distance. They're not really attacking us anymore, just making their position until the reinforcements arrive. Then we'll see fireworks. This alcove can hide us. How? It's too shallow to do any good. We'll be spotted. Not after I've used my telekinetic talent to cover the entrance with the wall of lunar dust. There they go. None the wire. We got breathing space, Scott. Sooner or later, we'll have to come out. I know. So I love this. So they just go in this little alcove over here. She uses her telekinesis to just pull the dirt up. So as far as anybody knows, it's just a dirty wall, and they're in there catching their breath, having a moment. There's so much I want to say to you, so much that I feel I don't have the word. Where I'm concerned, it's the thought that counts, and yours are beautiful. You're a special man, Scott Summers. More special than the woman I love. Ready? Ready? Then let's go. Now remember, he proposed to her last issue, and this to me is another one of my fan theories that Cyclops can only be with a telepath, either through brain damage or years of telepathic abuse by Xavier and Jean Grey and Emma Frost. Every major person in Cyclops' life has been a telepath, and he literally does have brain damage. Remember, he fell out of the airplane as a kid, hit his head, and that's why he can't control his optic blast. And the fact that because he can't control his optic blast, he must be in strict control. He can't afford to be emotional, so he can't connect with anybody unless they could get past this wall of resistance. So much I want to say, but I don't have the words, right? I can't let it out. Where I'm concerned, it's the thought that counts. Again, that's my fan theory. Cyclops has been manipulated by telepaths his entire life. Right, ready? So they catch their breath, they shared a moment, and they're ready to go. We got some comments. This part is one of the highlights. I can't do these narrative captions though in my writing. Most comics don't. I need to bring that back. You need to bring an editor just for this tweet. This part is one of the highlights. Yeah, a lot of talking. Dialogue is tough. Whenever I send out scripts to people, I get the same comment. This story is great. I love this. The characters are good, but man, your dialogue needs work. And in my defense, they're right. And dialogue isn't solid until I send a lettering script to Bill, and then the dialogue is finalized, because I edit it as I go. Sometimes I write this much dialogue, but I only have this much space. I don't use these narration captions in my writing. Most comics don't. I have them. I have thought balloons. I have narration boxes. Oh, you can't see. Narration boxes right here. I use them. So now they're coming out fighting. So now she's throwing rocks at Smasher. He's firing at Starbolt, So we got Ultra Boy, Sun Boy, and Saturn Girl, and now the rest of them are coming. And they all fly, just like the Legion of Superheroes. And they're all coming in. And then we just, once upon a time, there was a woman named Jean Grey, a man named Scott Summers. They were young, they were in love, they were heroes. Today, they will prove beyond all shadow of a doubt. Something is happening. Our instruments are registering off the scales. No. Shayera Ekatheri, no. And then blam! A blast just hits the ship. The energy flare lights up half the lunar hemisphere. A plasma bolt of monstrous proportions strikes the ship's defensive force fields like they don't exist, announcing to all the universe that Phoenix is reborn. And aboard the Great Dreadnought, instant total carnage. Grab handholds, everyone. The artificial gravity's gone. Damage control. Captain, alert the Grand Fleet. Plan Omega. If we fail in our mission to ensure that Phoenix is destroyed, burn this world, the system, the entire stellar cluster, do whatever. So there, confirmed. She had this. It was rigged. Whether the X-Men win or lose, if the X-Men win, Plan Omega, destroy everything. We take out this whole system. She had it. Leandra's right. Things have gone too far. I've done all I could. Now I must act to save you. Hear me, my X-Men. So, oh no. Your description of Cyclops is so apt. I love it. Thank you. You said thought balloons. I hate when they're called thought bubbles. Yeah, me too. Thought bubbles, I don't know. But they're called thought balloons, right? Because they're speech balloons. They're not called speech bubbles. I use both terms, Marcus. We got this ad over here. And now what's happening? Jean is Phoenix again. It's happened so fast. No time to stop herself. No time for even thought. She saw Cyclops cut down and the cry of shock, the grief, the terror, the welled within her shattered psychic restraints that Professor Xavier had placed around her power. Oh, gee, no. Cyclops attacks Phoenix now while she's still comparatively weak. Professor, there has to be another way. If there was, lad, don't you think I'd be using it? Scott, you're doing exactly what I prayed you would. Forgive me, my love. So he's firing at Jean, and she's 1,000,000 tons of masonry and steel topple towards the Phoenix. She managed to save herself with a telepathic shield, but the impact still hammers her. Her power awesome, but for the present has limits. Cyclops' voice is forcing me away. Goddess, no. It's up to us to stop it. Is such a thing possible? She's all beat up. So now they're just fighting Phoenix. And it's just implied. They don't show it, or they do show. She just defeated the entire Imperial Guard. So they're all taken out. Nice move, Aurora, but even we got to take out Jean Grey. So I love this. Wolverine grabs Colossus. It says because of the I said, did they even reference Moon's gravity? Yeah, right here. Because of the gravity difference, I can throw you. So Wolverine throws Colossus. He transforms. Because of that, love, don't hesitate. It happened before. We almost got killed as a result. You can't miss. You got to kill her. So, which begs the question, why didn't Colossus throw Wolverine? But, it's up to you, Colossus. Just probably have one shot. Make sure that when Phoenix goes down, she won't be getting up. You asked me to kill Wolverine, something I've never done. Yes, he did. He killed Proteus. Don't lie. Don't lie. You killed Proteus. But that's okay, because I was an ugly man. Worse, he asked me to kill a friend. I cannot do it. So he punches her, but he pulls back. Wow, you pulled your punch, Colossus. I mean, even so, I'm surprised my head's still attached to my body. Thanks, though, for knocking some sense back into me. Now, finally, I understand what I am and what needs to be done. Two beings, Jean Grey and Phoenix, separate, unique, bound together. A symbiote, Peter. Neither can exist without the other. Phoenix provides my life force, while I provide a living focus for its infinite power. So I stand corrected. I guess they always had that Phoenix was a separate thing from Jean Grey from the beginning, the Phoenix Force. All right, I just thought it was maybe, or they're just being symbolic here that it's her mutant power that she's disassociating to absolve herself of the guilt. Either way works. I'm going to step back my hatred of the Phoenix Force a little bit right now. As long as I live, the Phoenix will manifest itself through me. So long as that happens, I'll eventually become Dark Phoenix. Right. The cycle. The Phoenix is a cosmic power. I can neither be contained or controlled, especially by a human vessel. Return it to the cosmos for which it is its own. Okay. All right. I stand corrected. Phoenix Force always was. It's a separate entity. All right. Kill me. No. It doesn't have to be like this. You have an intellect, Jean, a will, a soul. Use them. Fight the dark side of yourself. We'll help you. See, Cyclops saying it's you. So all right. She created the way I'm looking at it is her mutant power created the Phoenix Force. The power, it's changing me. Jean, wait. So she's in a red costume. The choice was never yours to begin with. You see, Scott, I told you, Jean to Phoenix to Dark Phoenix are progressive. It's inevitable as death. You of all people should know. I'm scared. I'm changing. I'm on my fingernails. I can feel the Dark Phoenix taking over. Part of me welcomes it. You want me to fight? I with all my strength. I can't forget. I killed an entire world, 5 billion people, as casually, as unthinkingly as you would crumple a piece of paper. I want no more deaths on my conscience. Your way, I have to stay in control of myself every second of the day for the rest of my immortal life. Maybe I could do it, but even if I slipped for an instant, I can't. So she's saying, I can't be like you. You are in control constantly. You are always in control of yourself. You have a deadly destructive power too. You understand what I'm going through, but you're better than me, Cyclops. You maintain control. I can't. I'm not that good. Maybe she could have if Jason Wingard didn't, mess with her. Maybe she could have. That's a what if story. What if Jason Wingard never messed with Jean Grey? Would she be this goddess? Would she be this ultimate power? But instead, he introduced the corruption. I don't know. I kind of like that idea to explore. If one more person died at my hands, it's better this way. I love you, Scott. Part of me will always be with you. Boom. And she kills herself. What? You planned this from the moment we landed on the moon. You shielded your intentions from me. Just the same, I should have guessed. I should have realized, but you could not become Dark Phoenix and remain true to yourself. The Jean Grey I knew and fell in love with, so you took the steps to ensure that if Leandra couldn't stop you, you do the job yourself. Oh, Jean. You look at these word balloons. They're just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. You must have picked the minds of the Kree and Skrull observers, learned that the ancient weapons were hidden here. You've used your fight with the X-Men to drain you of enough energy to make you vulnerable. And finally, when you're ready, oh no. It's funny because a lot of these details I forgot. So she couldn't just kill herself. She needed to drain her energy. And then I love this. So at the beginning, the Watcher was talking to us. Reveal he was really talking to the Recorder, another character I just love. Statement: I am the Recorder, a non-cellular humanoid created by the colonizers of Rigel to think and to record. I have observed all that has transpired here, yet I do not comprehend the meaning of these events. My historical circuits inform me that Jean Grey was counted as the force for good on Earth. As Phoenix, her power saved the entire universe from extinction, yet she was hounded unto death. Interrogative: why? Because she was human. Insufficient answer, Watcher. Please elucidate further. All beings carry within them the capacity for good and evil. All our actions are a result of the interaction of these two fundamental forces. Our reason makes us unaware of these forces and likewise gives us the responsibility of choosing between them. Regrettably, not all choices are clear-cut, nor all conflicts obvious. Blah, 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 blah. So Jean Grey could have lived to become a god, but it was more important that she lived to die a human. Dun, dun, dun. Just Shakespeare to me. Shakespeare to me. This is so good. Chris Claremont, eternal exposition. We got the Marvel Fun and Games book. I love that Ben Grimm's sleeping. And an ad. Daisy BB guns. More ads. And yes, this is the actual comic I bought off the stands. If I didn't read this and lend it to my friends, this probably would have been in near mint condition. I just like to point out, people like, oh, if you don't slab your comics, they're going to get the story. I don't know about you, but this has been in this bag and board for 40 years. This is the original bag and board. Put them in a long box. You don't read it with jelly all over your hands. Your comics are fine. Slabbing comics is a scam. So it's a me thing, Vaughn. Basically, Jean accepted the Phoenix Force willing and the Phoenix Force bonded to control. I'm going to say that she created me. My headcanon is that she's the mutant who created this cosmic energy called the Phoenix Force. She created it. It's her, and then, whatever. But I'm listening. I always thought that it was just a bad retcon that they made the Phoenix Force, but it's in here. I guess I stand corrected, but I will still say that there was no Phoenix Force before Jean Grey was born. That's her mutant power. She evolved so powerful. Well, and that's why all the aliens hate humans, because they have that potential. The Recorders is my favorite Thor sidekick. I do love the Recorders. I love the concept of these. The Rigelians are so fragile that they don't space travel. They send out recorders to get the information. It's kind of cool. So the Watcher doesn't just watch. He's also a bit of a gossip, just telling him, yeah, pretty much. I had that Marvel Fun and Games book. Me too. I remember drawing it. And then a couple of years ago, I went and got like all 15 issues, undrawn, just it bagged the board like regular comics. But I remember getting them and doing all the puzzles. They were easy. They were like for little children. So there you go. This is one of the greatest comics ever made. I love this comic. Oh, God. And I love the Easter egg when John Byrne took over the Fantastic Four, when they moved the Inhuman City to the moon. What's his name? The Kree and the Skrull was still fighting. They were still fighting. I love that. I just love that. And it implied that they got crushed by the giant city. Is the Watcher a cuck? I don't know. Is somebody banging his wife? I wouldn't be surprised if Marvel made that part of the story. I don't know. great comic. It sure is. It's one of the single best comics of all time. This, this is one of the greatest single issues of all time. So good. So good. Jim Shooter was absolutely right. Leandro was absolutely right. And I don't even Plan Omega. I don't even falter for Plan Omega, because literally, and it just shows you how Charles Xavier is a moron. Everything Charles Xavier does is wrong. He's such a jerk. The psychic circuit breakers that he's like, oh, I fixed the problem. What do they last? A day? And she's already blasted through the psychic. I know she was stressed fighting, but fighting Magneto's not going to stress her? You know what I mean? Like, it just shows you that Leandro was right. She turned into Dark Phoenix. By the end of last issue, she was cured, and the next issue she's already Dark Phoenix. So Leandro was 100% right. Easily one of my favorite issues. It got it signed by Shooter, Simonson, and Claremont. Oh, you got by I think of Walt Simonson, but yeah, Louise. Cool. So this is like, we got a little dog ear right here. Otherwise, that's my issue. That's my comic. One of the best comics of all time. So good. I remember. John, you're just simping for the bird lady. No, she's right. She's got a responsibility to her. You got to understand the precarious position that she's in. She's only been Empress for like a year or two. She's the first, as far as I know, to break the line of secession, and under her watch, a whole planet got destroyed. And everybody's just like, oh yeah, this is where your alien lover is from, this planet. So she's got to come down hard on it. She's right, and she's like, all right, we got to burn down this whole freaking planet, because that's what we got to do. I mean, we bombed Hiroshima and Nagasaki to get the Japanese to surrender. That's the hard choice. Blow up we're going to take out this whole solar system, because it'll save lives in the long run. And she wasn't already. She was Dark Phoenix again. And she said, I can't control it. It's going to happen again. Yeah. So what do you guys think? Again, we're done with the comic. At this point, I just keep pontificating as long as the chat is moving. I'll take a sip of coffee. And around 7 o'clock tonight, I'm going to do my Avengers Assemble. Hi, Lord Zart says, hey, John, a bit off topic, but I remember a while ago I told you I was doing a career change to either an EMT or an electrician. I decided to go electrician despite being told it's not a good. Who told you it's not a good? The more and more mechanized and the more computers, to me, electrician is one of the only trades that ain't in any danger of going away. It's things are booming. I'm working more than I've ever worked before. Is it temporary? Maybe. But an electrician is never going to starve. You know what I mean? An electrician is never going to starve. EMT, probably is another job that's got job security. I mean, we're just getting better. I mean, worse shape, fatter, and so good choices. What did you do? What did you do beforehand? And if you don't mind me asking, how old are you? Great comic. It sure is. Vaughn Coleman. Sorry I couldn't tune in for the other episodes, but I'm glad I tuned in for this. No problem. Good to have you. Good to have you. This is so good. And I know Vaughn is a big fan of the Claremont years. And if you watch Vaughn, if you want to go back, because I started with Giant Size X-Men #1, I've been doing this for a while. You'll hear me. I don't do it anymore, but I was pretty justifiably harsh on Claremont's errors. Far be it from me to criticize Chris Claremont, but he made a couple of mistakes along the way. And I'm sure you can criticize me. Not me. I lost over 40 pounds. Good for you, Marcus. Good for you. One of my favorite issues. Yeah, me too. No doubt. I just this since issue 112. Every issue is just better and better and better and better and better. There hasn't been a misfire yet. maybe some 110. So we are on. This is just one of the best streaks of comics. You know, uh, so I know I'm probably gonna go maybe to 150 for this series, maybe just to make it a nice round number. I don't know, but after this, I want to do the Fantastic Four, but I want to start around Fantastic Four 150. Start the I think it was Glenn Wein writing it, maybe Jerry Conway. I forget who started writing it back then, but with George Perez and Joe Sinnott, and then all the way to the first Byrne run. People forget that John Byrne did the Fantastic Four before the Byrne run, where he was just, as he called it, the art robot. And then, you know, maybe after Avengers Assemble, uh, the new Teen Titans. I don't know. There's so many good runs. So many good runs. The Thor, Walt Simonson run. It's just so. I mean, I could do these series forever. So much good stuff. Old man talking about old comics. All right. I'll give a little pause. At this point, I always talk about my week. I got nothing scheduled this week. I just know that I got a lot of overtime. So I've been, a couple of people have been asking to come on my channel, and I was just like, I'm not doing any conversations for a little bit. I'm not going to, I don't know how long. I'm going to take it week to week. Just a lot of overtime. Can't turn it down. Kind of a little burnt out on the internet in general. I like doing this because this is about my comics that I love, right? But it's all this drama and everybody fighting and backstabbing, and this guy hates this guy and that guy hates this guy, and this guy's pretending. It's just draining. Like I don't follow Comicsgate drama anymore. I don't care. It's not important. It's a tiny microcosm of what's going on. To me, it's about comics. It's always been about comics. So, not that I dislike the conversation. I really do like the conversation. But right now, I just want to do some comic stuff. I'm gonna announce my new campaign, talk about that, and Wednesday nights I enjoy talking to RJ. It's one of my favorite things of the week. So that is a comic book team up. I really like It's Clobbering Time. We just talk about comics. Next week, Friday, we're going to be talking about like what would you pitch to Marvel or DC or Charlton or whatever. So take something that already exists and how would you pitch it? That's going to be fun. I got two things that I'd like to pitch. One of them I already spoiled here. That's fun. Saturdays I do the Avengers Assemble. Sundays I do Sunday Comics, which right now is the X-Men. I'll do comics every once in a while, but the conversations, I haven't been dogging the pros like I used to. I mean, that was like a lot of effort to get these people to come on. I literally haven't been doing it in months. And the people that have been, I come home, I'm not even getting home till like 7 o'clock. Then I got to take a shower and I go to bed at 9, so I got like no time. But I'm sure once I take a break, I'll be interested in doing it again. It's just like fighting with people on the internet about Comicsgate. It's a waste of time. It's over, guys. If you haven't figured out, the Comicsgate is 100% over. Just look at the new campaign that launched this week. It's over. It's done. Why? It ain't even worth talking about anymore. 30 and 2 jobs, mover and overnight stock. I was doing bank work at first, but I hated the office. Yeah. I was school teacher until like 33, 34, and I was like, this sucks. So, okay, FF 150, Jerry Conway, Rich Buckler, Joe Sinnott. Yeah, and then a couple of issues later, George Perez joins in. All right. So that there you go. So I got, I'm scaling back everything, keeping the comic focused. Heroic Tales Christmas Special campaign is going to be launching real soon. I don't want to give an exact date yet. My comic book Fund My Comic store is going to be launching soon, and that's it. That's everything. So let's see. Did I miss any comments? I think I got all the comments. Okay, so it looks like we're done. I got nothing else to talk about. Thanks for everybody. And it's time to say goodbye, kids.
Goodbye, kids.